Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week, 10 days across Europe for today's second video. This is your detailed European outlook, and I'll get on with that for you in a moment. Just to say that the first video release today was our 6 AM UK weather forecast. There's a 10 to 14 day coming at you later on today as well. So please like, share, subscribe on all of today's videos and content, and thank you so very much everybody for doing that. Right, okay, we're going to start off the situation across Europe today on Thursday the 3rd of August. A deep area of low pressure sitting across the northern parts of Europe into Scandinavia, and behind it through Western Europe we're actually bringing down quite a cool northerly wind. It's much hotter across southern southeastern parts of the country. If you have a look at the upper air temperatures, you can see again we've got a real north-south split, or northwest-southeast split I suppose, with very hot upper air temperatures here through much of southern and also southeast Europe. Obviously it's much cooler further north and west. So that area of low pressure is Scandinavia, producing lots of heavy showers, longer spells of rain too. And we've got showery conditions back across western parts of Europe as well. So there's some wet weather through France, into the Low Countries, into Germany as well. Excuse me. And then we've got sunshine and showers through the UK and Ireland. Few heavy showers around Austria, Hungary, but come further east and south of that, it is actually mostly dry with plenty of hot sunshine. You see this with the surface temperature. So again, we've got some very hot air sitting over some parts of Spain, Portugal, really hot through there. Hot through the Med, temperatures widening into the 30s Celsius, and very hot into the southeastern corner again, from the Balkans to the Black Sea and southwards into Greece and Turkey. We see temperatures widely into probably the mid to upper 30s Celsius, if not a little bit higher. Well, tomorrow, Friday, kicks that area of low pressure going across Scandinavia. Same time, there's a little ridge building out through the west of Europe, but it's only ahead of more low pressure in the Atlantic. Something a little bit cooler perhaps coming into these central parts of the Mediterranean, with winds going into the north. There might be a little bit of a trough of low involved with that as well, and the heat getting squeezed maybe more towards that eastern and southeastern part of Europe. You see this on the upper air temperature, so very hot again through this southeastern corner. Romania, for example, looking really hot, and down in towards Greece and Turkey, again, very hot temperatures there up towards the Black Sea too. Same time though, the upper air temperature actually cooling down to the central bowl of the there, from the Balearic Islands, Mallorca, Menorca, and Ibiza, over towards Corsica and Sardinia, and even into northern parts of Italy. North of Spain also having a little bit of a cool down, but southern parts of Spain, Portugal still looking very hot. And then of course it remains cool across the northern and western parts of Europe once again. So a few showers with those cooler temperatures are possible through the central part of the Mediterranean. They might turn thunderjacks as we come over towards Italy, and maybe threaten Corsica, Sardinia as well. We go further northwards, and lots of heavy showers again through France, into Germany, up in towards the Low Countries, and into western Poland too. And then we've got longer spells of rain sitting across Scandinavia, and also up in towards Finland as well. Very wet weather through there. And so these showers might start to affect the Baltic Sea states of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania as well. Out west, we've got more wet weather waiting in the wings to west of the UK and Ireland, with showers across eastern parts of England. Large portions of southeastern Europe will be very hot, dry and sunny. That's where the hottest temperatures will be tomorrow. Really, really hot again from the Adriatic to the Black Sea in that southeastern corner. Looking very, very hot once more. Go further north and west again. It's a cool scene, or cooler scene, and quite a cool scene actually, Scandinavia and into the UK and Ireland. Will probably be a little bit of an autumnal feel to the temperatures there. And going further southwards again, it looks pretty hot through much of the Mediterranean. A deep area of low pressure moves into Ireland and the UK and northern parts of France and the Low Countries on Saturday. That was very inclement indeed. Further northwards, we've got more low pressure around Scandinavia, although it is beginning to ease a little bit as high pressure builds across the western part of Russia. So the upper air temperatures look like that. The heat in the southeast Europe may be starting to push a little bit further northwards up the eastern side of Europe as that area of high pressure starts to build in the west and southwest of Russia. At the same time though, it still looks very cool across these western parts of Europe, notably through France, the UK, Ireland and the Low Countries, with that area of low and Spain sees the heat beginning to start seeping back northwards again from northern parts of Africa. But the central part of Med actually looks a little bit cooler. Precipitation-wise, we've got some heavy thunderstorms running up the eastern side of Europe associated with that hotter southerly flow, and then showers or longer spells of rain back through the UK, Ireland, and into northern France and Low Countries, and just threatening western Germany and probably southern parts of Denmark as well. So that rain could be really heavy on Saturday. There is a risk of gale or severe gale force winds actually affecting some parts of Ireland and also western southwestern England. Further south of that, much of southern France, Spain, Portugal, and the Med mostly hot, and then we run into more thunderstorms through southern parts of Italy. And again, around the Adriatic into the southeastern corner, there could be some heavy showers and thunderstorms coming through there, perhaps threatening the Balkans. Though the heat from the far southeast Europe is beginning to extend a bit further northwards up the eastern side of Europe. Ukraine looking very, very hot up through there, and so that's starting to get towards the Baltic Sea states actually. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania beginning to turn a little bit hotter, as does Belarus. Out to west, so it looks quite cool through Scandinavia, the UK, and Ireland. In fact, it will be very cool under that more persistent wet weather where we've got those outbreaks of rain on Saturday. Going to be a notably cool day there, potentially hot through southern Europe once again. On into Sunday, that area of low pressure starts pushing further northwards and eastwards into central Europe as the wind it comes in from the northwest across western parts of Europe once again. The upper air temperature is looking hot here in the east, and that heat is being drawn further north. So the Baltic Sea state getting a big warm up here as we go through to Sunday. We might see the temperature pushing well up into the 30 Celsius there, and some of that heat may be starting to trickle up into southern parts of Finland. Also becoming hotter through Spain and Portugal. Central part of Med looks cooler, and then to the north and the west it remains pretty cool with those upper air temperatures. Precipitation wise, heavy showers and thunderstorms pushing northwards up the eastern northeast side of Europe with that hotter air as well. So it isn't just heat, it is also humidity and the risk of thunderstorms. And then we've got the area of low pressure course bringing outbreaks of rain to Germany and Denmark and back in towards the Low Countries. Heavy showers and thunderstorms breaking out through the Balkans, though much of southern Europe actually mostly dry, hot and sunny, and we're back to sunshine and showers in the UK and Ireland. Cool in the north and west of Europe, hot in the south, and particularly hot in the eastern part of Europe. And again, you see how hot the Ukraine is, so from the north of Black Sea to Ukraine and then northwards into Belarus and the Baltic Sea states again, we see that the temperature there is becoming ever hotter. Quite unusual. Heading through into Monday, we've got a big area of low pressure setting up over Scandinavia. That's being fueled by the heat in the northeast of Europe, combining with the cool air from the North Atlantic. So it looks very unsettled with that low. Look at precipitation forecast in a moment. But some higher pressure trying to ridge in towards the western part of Europe on Monday. Upper air temperatures looking hot here through the far northeast of Europe to the north and the east of this area of low pressure, cool to the south and west of that low. And then Western Europe again, generally cool for the UK, Ireland, Low Countries into Germany, come further southwards though, quite hot into the Med, and again particularly around Spain and Portugal and down into northern parts of Africa. The heat is really starting to build up there once more. Lots of wet weather over Scandinavia, particularly affecting Sweden and Norway. Showers or thunderstorms in towards the Baltic Sea states as well. Go further south as that, we've got sunshine and showers through Germany and into Poland, and more showery conditions for the UK and Ireland. Most parts of Western and also Southern Europe looking mainly dry. Temperature wise, it's hot in the far east and northeast, cooler further west and north though, hot again across Spain and Portugal, and most parts of the Med looking very warm or hot as you would expect. Tuesday sees that area of low pressure still sitting over Scandinavia, beginning to push out into the Norwegian Sea, possibly starting to head towards northern part of Scotland with that. At the same time, a ridge looks like it's beginning to start building across southern and also central parts of Europe though. Upper air temperatures, they're looking hot again in the far north and northeast. It's seen getting up in towards the Arctic, actually to the north of Scandinavia. So hot in the north and northeast of Europe, cooler out to the west. And again, this low really does mark the contrast between those hotter temperatures in the upper air temperatures in the northeast of Europe and the cooler upper air temperatures in the western part of Europe. Again, look at the heat building across Spain, Portugal. That's beginning to start trickling into towards southern parts of France. We're going to keep an eye on that for next week. Precipitation shows lots of heavy rain sitting over Sweden and particularly into Norway as well. So that pushing out in towards the Norwegian Sea. Showers along the spells of rain from the UK island in towards Denmark and also northern parts of Germany and into the Low Countries. Otherwise, lots of dry weather there as that ridge begins to start building through central, southern and western parts of Europe. And temperatures on Tuesday, look how hot it is across the far north of Scandinavia. So into the far northwest of Russia, into the far north of Sweden, and into the far north of Finland as well, looking very, very warm or hot through there. Heat through Spain and Portugal as well, begin to trickle up in towards south of France, and just generally starting to look a little bit warmer actually across many parts of Europe by the time you get through to Tuesday. Wednesday sees that area of high pressure, or that ridge building across the central and eastern regions. Again, we're drawing up the air from the south into the western part of Europe, but low pressure is moving from Scandinavia out in towards the Norwegian Sea at that point. Upper air temperature become generally hotter across much of Europe, especially so in the west and the southwest. So that heat from Spain, Portugal, North Africa is pushing northwards in towards France as well. Big warm up taking place there, and some of that heat actually getting towards southern parts of Germany too. Looking generally very warm or hot through eastern parts of Europe as well, but cooler out to the north and the west, although the upper air temperature beginning to lift up into the far south of Ireland and southern parts of England and Wales. More heavy showers, long spells of rain through Scandinavia and into far north Europe, despite the warm upper air temperatures there, and that wet weather again sitting in the Norwegian Sea too. Heavy rain beginning to push northwards through Ireland as well on Wednesday, but otherwise lots of dry weather actually as we come anywhere from like Denmark and northern Germany southwards, looking relatively dry and hot through the southern and also central western parts of Europe, particularly Spain, Portugal, into France actually. Temperatures back into the mid to upper 30 Celsius, probably through southern parts of France on Wednesday, and that heat is drawing a little bit further northwards. Very warm through most parts of Europe, still cool though through large portions of Scandinavia, particularly Norway and Sweden, looking really quite cool through there. And then into Thursday, well, high pressure is sitting across central and eastern parts of Europe, low pressure out in the Atlantic. The two will combine probably to draw up hotter air from the south, so the upper air temperature becoming hotter across the western part of Europe. That heat begins to move in towards Germany as well as we get through to Thursday, plus 20 Celsius iceberg there. Even drawing it into the Low Countries and southern and southeastern parts of England, could take temperature back to 30 degrees maybe on Thursday afternoon in southeastern England. Just the far north of Europe under that area of low pressure, still hanging on to those cooler upper air temperatures, and further showers along the spells of rain in the north of Europe as well, with very wet weather through Ireland and into Scotland too. Areas further south of that though, or to the south of that, will be mostly dry, hot, sunny, though a few thunderstorms could break out through eastern parts of France. That's a long way off of that kind of detail though. And temperature wise, again looking hot across most parts of Europe. Temperature back into the 30s Celsius, I think quite widely across much of Europe as we get through into Thursday, although still cool for Ireland, Scotland and into Norway, Sweden and over into Finland as well. The Baltic Sea states marking the boundary between the hotter air to the south, the cooler air up to the north. Right, we'll just go through to day 10 then. So this is Friday the 11th. Low pressure again to western UK and Ireland. High pressure across these eastern parts of Europe. Again, we're drawing up the hot air from the south. So your air temperature looking impressively hot across most parts of Europe. Some certainly not done yet through much of Europe. Just again, the far north hanging on to those cooler upper air temperatures. On Saturday and into Sunday, you find this area of low pressure developing close to the UK and Ireland. That could bring heavy showers and thunderstorms and cooler air into the far west as the heat gets shunted and pushed a little bit further eastward. So by Sunday, the heat is extending again from North Africa, Spain, Portugal, up into much of continental Europe, but it is turning cooler through the far west. So again, cool down taking place through Ireland and the UK, into northern parts of France and the Low Countries. But heat is getting drawn up in towards southern parts of Scandinavia as well, though, by the weekend of the 12th and the 13th of August. So quite an interesting week to come, actually. Starting off quite cool and autumnal, away from the very far south and southeast, and the heat gradually building up as next week goes on, with many places becoming mostly dry and hot for a while anyway, through the course of next week, especially the second half of next week. How far north and west we get this? Do we get it to Ireland and the UK? Clearly we can see it's on a nice base, but I think certainly for the south beach it probably does warm up quite significantly for a couple of days, Thursday, Friday, at the end of next week, but I expect it to be then pushed out of the way quite quickly. But more about that in the 10th 14 day, with all of the reg features coming up for you later on. Right, that's it for today's European Outlook. If you enjoyed this forecast, please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing that. We'll be back shortly with the 10th 14 day. This week's European Outlook. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.